by Stoneface.
This is segment 4 of the DM commentary. I'm Chris Perkins.
Tom has a two thievery. He could try to...
Should we try to get through those doors?
Yeah, let's give it a whirl.
All
right. Bluebell.
As you watch this commentary, you will quickly realize that Tom Root is the group's voice of reason.
All right. Bluebell fidgets with the locking mechanism, and you hear a loud click, which signifies the doors have been breached.
No spiders.
All right.
Bluebell's head goes tumbling. When you push the doors open, they squeal on old hinges, and you see the room beyond very much like that.
I certainly hope that anybody watching this podcast gets the sense that, hey, this is a lot like our gaming group.
There are 4 iron drums set into the floor here.
I mean, different people sitting at the table, but the experiences are very similar. Certainly I'm not doing anything as a DM that's I consider to be out of the ordinary or over the top. I certainly didn't want to try to dominate the scene or take the thunder away from these guys, because honestly, I am not funny. However, they are.
Be stealthy. What if we got through the whole thing with it?
The other thing is
That should be our new goal.
They had the choice between spiders and the doors. They went through the doors, and so we enter the trap room, thus avoiding the traditional monster fight. So let's talk about the path not taken a little bit. Because they actually don't get back to the spiders until near the end of the session, and we were kind of rushed then as well. And I had this idea for the spiders that not only were there spiders hiding in the webs, but there was this large spider, sort of the mother spider, who had all of these skeletons dangling like puppets throughout the room on thin strands of webbing. And she could pull on the strands of her web to animate them and make them attack. But the best part is at the back of the cave, I had the idea, and I'm a very twisted individual, of this old guardian, this dead floating beholder. Because I wanted them to walk into the cave and see this floating shape and have like Dan and a few of the people and Doug who knew D&D recognize it as a beholder and think, oh shit, we got to get out of here, man. But not know it's dead right away, and have a spider swarm living inside of its dead husk, and have it come pouring out when they got too close. I thought that would get a reaction. So feel free to steal that one for your own game.
When Bluebell takes his first step on the dais,
Spider swarm and a dead rotting beholder.
You can see that.
I think Tom went on that dais deliberately. I think he wanted to provoke the room.
And there are icicles hanging from it, like the moisture came down through the roof and then froze. The dais kind of lights up with runes. Glyphs appear on the stone.
Like Billie Jean.
And at this point in time...
Blah, blah, dais. I want to go back to talking about the dead beholder, because that's just cooler. It's like some horrid D&D pinata.
Hammers down and just pound on the iron drums.
Maybe they're here to help.
All right.
Let's go back to
Toughness and wit. Toughness and wit.
The inspiration for the iron drums came while I was searching through my enormous D&D minis collection for cool minis to take with me on the flight. And I had a bunch of minis of dwarf-shaped golems with big hammers raised above their heads. And I thought about using them as statues in this obviously dwarven dungeon. Originally, I envisioned them lining a hall, and the characters would have to run through the hall without getting smashed by the statues. The drums idea came much later as I was in my hotel room drawing the map and trying to come up with cool features to put in the room.
Take 5 thunder damage, so that comes off of your hit points. Yes. And you are momentarily deafened.
Here's the first instance where we have hit points coming into play.
Something materializes in the middle of the dais, and it looks exactly like this.
Aha, we can use that.
Just like it's conjured out of nowhere. A gigantic dragon...
Half of my vocabulary as a human being pretty much came out of D&D. I started playing back in the late 70s, and had no idea what a portcullis was, what bas-relief was, what a dais was. D&D has done so much for my vocabulary.
INIT. It's under your hit points and your speed.
Is it also INT?
Yeah.
No, that's intelligence.
We're rolling initiative for the first time because the Arcane Ballista has just appeared. And honestly, I did not have a great inkling for how big a role this Arcane Ballista would play in this particular adventure. Originally, it was just part of this trap. It would materialize in the middle of the room and breathe fire on the characters, and would sort of turn and reorient itself to try to catch as many of them as possible in the blast. It was also the way to get around the frozen doors at the far end of the room. The characters wanted to cross the room, they had to get through the frozen doors. One way to do that was to trick or aim the Arcane Ballista at the doors and get it to melt the ice. It's always fun when a trap can be used against the room.
What is this, by the way?
Thanks for asking. You all have a special card called Action Point. Once during the encounter, you can spend that card
Yes,
to get
Doug
an
discovered
extra
the special cheese.
So you could attack twice, for instance.
Doug is a 3.5 player and runs in a current 3.5 game, so action points are a new concept to him.
One is called a standard action, which is normally an attack. One is called a move action, which lets you move up to your speed. Most of you move about 5 or 6 squares. And the third is called a minor action, which is really only good for things like opening and closing doors, pulling something out of a backpack, really just incidental actions. And you can do those in any order, so you can move.
As you can see, we're pretty far into the rules of the adventure when I first introduced the players to the concept of actions. The standard action, the move action, and the minor action.
Where I can move and attack?
Yes, absolutely.
So, in a mad rage, I am going to...
What are we fighting?
You're on a hair trigger.
It's like you're fighting some sort of...
Doug is about to demonstrate his special skill.
We're fighting that?
Well, it's up to you.
Nothing's moved yet. That's
There's
just
also,
what appeared. You saw
there's
that
also the
here.
statues.
The statues hit the drums.
And you see the statues are just sort of pulling their hammers back. They look more like just like machines, mechanical things.
We need to stop that.
Oh, wait.
So-
Can we just leave? I don't know what we're fighting. Can we just try to make it across this room and get out of here?
Oh, to those other doors?
Yeah.
Tom Root, voice of reason.
You can
If initiative was rolled, we're not the only ones who rolled it.
I'm going to jump to inappropriate conclusions.
insult our guests.
Swing my sword at them.
All right, excellent. Before you do that, do me a favor. Because you moved more than 2 squares, and this is not something you would know ahead of time, and the floor is ice, I need you to make an acrobatics check for me. So it's on your skill list near the top.
A 1.
Oh my gosh!
The ice was an incredibly frustrating terrain element, but in a fun way. There was an obvious way to get around it, and that is to move very slowly.
Although you're prone, though, it doesn't keep you from attacking.
And, you know, characters falling down, always funny.
When you attack.
All right, I'm going to still swing that sword.
All right. You try to hit the statue in a place in order to disable it.
Do I keep going when I fall because it's icy? Or just...
Kind of. You just kind of slide up against the base of the statue. Make an attack roll. This is probably a basic attack for you. So on your character sheet, you should have where your weapon is listed. Do you see that? About
Basic attacks?
Yeah.
3.
Okay.
So I roll. Oh, another 1.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. So 4 total.
Here's Doug's special skill. He is really good at rolling ones.
They don't tactically know we've even attacked at this point. So we can still walk out.
All right. When you are close enough to the statue to see, you can see.
Hopefully, Doug's first 4th edition experience isn't sullied too severely by his pathetic dice rolling.
A thievery check to kind of disable it. You could also invoke ancient arcane rituals to kind of deactivate it. So there are all kinds of ways to handle these things.
Okay.
After Steel Diamond has his moment,
DM tip number 3,
it is the Goliath's turn.
always give players lots of things to do.
What does that mean?